I really believe local government is really the bedrock of our communities. So I think one is getting to know who your school board members are, getting to know who your county commissioners are, and really put energy behind understanding the money, meaning how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, are they operating at a deficit, are they truly operating at a balanced budget? Really understanding where your tax dollars are going, I think is really important. When I got asked to run, my wife and I talked about it, we prayed about it, and really ultimately it just felt like a calling, and it was an act of obedience. And I wasn't guaranteed to win, and it was more about just kind of walking in that obedience and trying to take some of the talents I have and reviewing data and kind of thinking critically about the issues, and here I am. Being a grassroots conservative is really, for me, founded in really what the Constitution stands for, and it's about freedom. And I think the grassroots conservatives in Williamson County is really an organized group of just everyday, ordinary people who truly understand the issues not only at the national level, but they understand them at the state level and ultimately at the local level. And I think the local level is really important, and it's exciting to see more grassroots get involved, is because the local level really, in my view, is the most important form and function of government, because every decision that we make at the county commission or the school board, as soon as you pull out of your driveway, you see the impact of that. You see it on the roads, you see it in our public safety with the number of sheriff's deputies on the roads or in our schools, teachers, classrooms. So it's local government, and being really engaged is really important. So when I ran 3 years ago, I was shocked to see what our debt service really was. Now, I understand that there's good debt and then there's not so good debt, as I call it, in our budget. Good debt, and a lot of the debt that we incurred was really because of that hyper growth from about 2010 until 2020 with the influx of new residents into the county. So good debt is you're investing in infrastructure, schools. That's a good use of bonds and debt. What was also happening, unfortunately, is we were bonding things like air conditioning and asphalt. And those are all things that, just my personal opinion, those should not be capital expenses. Those should be operational expenses that you're budgeting for and planning for over time. What's really concerning right now, though, in this budget year, as we look at our proposed budget that we'll vote on this Friday, is our debt service is increasing $17 million. So why does that matter? So we're now going to have $109 million of debt service built into the budget. But as those debt payments increase, as we take on additional debt, it starts to put a lot of pressure on other areas of the budget. It's going to be a real challenge for us to either have to raise taxes, which I'm not in favor of because we haven't done the hard work to really evaluate where we can cut, or we're going to have to really make some big decisions around what types of cuts we have to make. First of all, I think we're very lucky to have Sheriff Hughes and the deputies and his command staff. I had the pleasure of doing a lunch and learn with them. And really the goal of that engagement was really just for me to sit and listen and hear about the challenges that they're facing. One of the biggest challenges that our department faces right now is pay, deputy pay. As they don't see their pay increase, they kind of hit that 5-year mark, and that's when they become very marketable to other departments. So in essence, what's happening in law enforcement, unfortunately, is it's an arms race relative to pay. So we lose a lot of deputies to City of Franklin Police Department, City of Brentwood Police Department, and THP. Those are probably our three biggest competitors right now. So it's about a $500,000 investment into the Sheriff's Department to do a mid-cycle raise, or $1 million to do for the full budget year. I just absolutely believe that we have to prioritize public safety funding from a budget perspective. And so that has to be fully funded, however that's going to be defined. And then whatever money is left is then what we start to fund other things for. We have, I think it's close to $2.6 million being proposed to give to nonprofits. And while I support nonprofits and I think it's great to support nonprofits, I don't believe that that's the role of government, and I actually believe that that's an individual citizen's choice. There's a lot of nonprofits that are not on that list that could benefit. I think we're giving over $1.6 million to the Visitors Bureau and Tourism Bureau. Is that a good investment? Maybe, but again, when you're looking at lean budgets, increasing debt and the pressure that puts on the budget, I think those are the types of things you have to really take a critical look at to decide whether or not it's an investment that should be made for this year. Williamson County subsidizes most of the other counties in the state. I think that's really important for folks to understand. So what does that really mean? So our student population is around 3.6 of the total in the state. So there's 95 counties in the state. And we spend or pay about 4.2% of the total education dollars. So clearly we're subsidizing. The state should be fully funding our schools. They're really abdicating their constitutional responsibility by not funding everybody equally. Why does that matter? Well, in our budget, Williamson County Schools makes up the biggest piece of the pie in the budget. I think this year's proposed budget is close to $600 million. I think right now Williamson County teachers are ranked 27th in the state out of 95. Which is really hard for me to reconcile. If we have the best public school system in the state, how are we not paying our teachers the best? We have opportunities to right size in central office and take out some of the administrative layers that exist. And I also think that by doing that, we can create a better incentive to, again, similar to the Sheriff's Department, to hire, retain our best teachers. For me, what I believe for school conservatism is that we're not spending more than what we're taking in, and that we're making really strategic and the right decisions around when we're going to invest in infrastructure and take on debt, because that has a long-term impact not only on taxpayers today, but on future taxpayers. And so we really need to think all the way through of these 20 to 30 year types of investments when we're taking on debt. I also believe that it's really making the right choice and the strategic choice around what is the role of government. And if you can clearly define what the role of government is, then I think you can figure out how to spend the money appropriately. There's no reason why in this county we can not have the lowest tax rate in the state and still provide all essential services for our community. My vision for Williamson County really is, as we look ahead to the next cycle of elections, is that one is that we remain firmly red and really grounded in true conservatism, not faux conservatism that's out there today. I also think that we have an opportunity in the county, whether it's at the commission level, new school board members, and possibly even the county mayor's race that will come to light here soon. I think having a clear strategic direction on where we want to go in Williamson County. And that needs to be clearly articulated. It needs to have citizen input and buy-in. You know, for me, I know that I will be satisfied when I leave office that we have a really strong, balanced budget, that we've looked at all possible means of revenue beyond property taxes, and that we're not taking on more debt than what we really should be.